Richmond International Raceway. It is 3 rounds. First round, the fastest 24 will advance. We'll also find out there will be one driver that will not be able to race on Saturday night. There are 41 here for 40 spots. Round 2, the fastest 12 will then move on to round 3, and round 3 will set the top 12 positions and determine who will be the pole winner this afternoon.
And Rick, I'm actually a little surprised to see this much excitement this quickly on pit road. While it is extremely hot, and it's been really staying hot, the sun is starting to set, Jeff, so I would have thought some of these teams would have waited a little bit into this 20-minute round 1 to see if the track picked up grip, but Carl Edwards seems to be in a hurry to be on the racetrack. We'll see how it works out for him.
It's going to be difficult to run faster your second time out, I think. I would be surprised if track conditions cool down. Maybe you can run faster, but I would think the tires aren't going to let you run faster, but I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing.
You heard earlier the driver saying that it'll be the first lap.
Oh, it's really loose. Yep. Loose coming to the start-finish line there.
21.93 for Carl Edwards, fastest lap we've seen turn.
By a lot.
So even though the heat has risen, it is allowing the teams to still turn some pretty good lap times. Chris Buescher, 22.38 for Chris.
And Carl Edwards made 1 lap. But he made 1 lap and shut it down. And that lap wasn't great. He came off turn 4 and it was really loose leaving the corner. So we'll see if that's good enough.
Chris Buescher, he's on with him right now. He's going to shut his car down.
He ran faster on his second lap.
Carl Edwards was 0.6 of a second faster than what he ran in practice.
This track always picks up when it gets cool.
Mears, 22 flats for Casey Mears after Casey was able to run a 22.39 in practice earlier. Casey Mears making his 250th start. We talk about milestones. Now we see Cole Witt out on the track in the 98.
And this lap's important, Rick, because Cole Witt is one of those cars that are racing for a starting position. He was 39th in practice, and he is not guaranteed to be in this race, so he needs to get a good lap and see if he can continue the opportunity of trying to race tomorrow night.
Josh Wise, Witt and Blaney are all drivers that have to find somebody, one of those groups. Somebody's going to go home.
Stenhouse Jr. good on his qualifying run, then just dips into the red. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 4th quickest. Edwards, Bain, Mears, Stenhouse Jr. and Josh Wise, the top 5 of the 8 that have gone. A lot of drivers waiting on pit road. One thing you don't want to have happen during qualifying is have someone else affect your qualifying runs. They want to make sure that they have an opening when they get out on the track, a very clear track for them to put up their best lap, as Denny Hamlin goes 4th quickest.
So he come out turn 2. He looked like he got tight and then got loose out by the wall in his first lap. The second lap was much cleaner, and you can see it on the speed chart as well.
In practice, the Toyota's not showing a lot of strength, especially in the final practice, but now, early in the qualifying run, it's Denny Hamlin and Carl Edwards, the 2 fastest.
You know, the combined practice sessions, Denny Hamlin was 4th fastest, so he just set fast time at a 21.90, and his fast time in practice was a 22.39.
And as I mentioned, there was a lot of movement on pit road when this qualifying first round started, but they don't seem to be in a hurry to go on the racetrack, kind of taking their time to get these laps in. That's more what I expected to see. Not only what the pace was on the racetrack, as you mentioned, Jeff, the pace can pick up here very quickly as the sun sets.
And that's also the spotters, the crew chiefs, they're talking to their drivers right now. They're telling them how much the racetrack has picked up so the driver can really kind of estimate how much harder he can drive the car. So not going early allows you to give a little more information to the driver as well.
Does the fact that the sun is beating down on turn 1 and 2 make it harder to drive, more as far as different from one end of the track to the other? Because a little bit almost shade in 3 and 4 because of the grandstands and where the sun is track like that, Jim?
The drivers can see that one end is more shaded than the other, and you will push a little harder in the end that does have more shade. The ends are completely different anyway from each other, the way the corner's shaped. But when you see that shade, you know there's more grip there, so you try to get a little bit more in that end of the corner. See Danica Patrick, looked like she was free getting in the corner, didn't it, Steve?
It did. It looked like she had to correct a little bit, but the beauty of this qualifying session is she can continue to run here. We'll see as she runs. We'll continue to compare her to Denny Hamlin. You see right there at the bottom of your screen. This is Tony Stewart. We'll see what kind of speed. He looked decent in practice at times. We'll see if that can translate to good qualifying effort.
Tony Stewart making his final Richmond race.
And to your point about Danica Patrick, that second lap for her was much quicker in the 8th position than she was on the first lap. We'll see if Tony Stewart also takes the option to run a second lap. And this one much better so far, but that's kind of the wrong way. You don't want to see it gain green on corner entry. That usually means they've overdriven the corner, gain time back. You want to see it to gain time on corner exit, which is the direction it's going for Tony Stewart here off turn 4.
He had to run 2 laps to get his fastest lap. Had to run 2 laps. Remember, Carl Edwards only ran 1 lap.
Tony Stewart goes all the way up to 3rd quickest on his qualifying run. Kevin Harvick 11th on his first lap.
Jeff, you've mentioned it a couple times now. I didn't think it was that big a deal because I thought everybody would go fast on lap 1. That is not the case. Carl has been the exception to that rule. Most everyone else have had to run 2 laps. We're going to see if that will continue to help the 19 progress forward through this qualifying. 6 for Kevin Harvick.
Of the top 8 right now, everyone had their fastest lap with the exception of Carl Edwards on their second lap. Kyle Larson on the clock.
And overall, it's a short track, and what that means is the lap time's obviously lower, but the gaps are lower as well. As you see Kyle Larson trending into the green here on lap 1. See if he can do it on 1 lap. I think it'll be good enough to transfer on 1 lap, even if it's not the fastest, but it's going to be the fastest. A 21.85 for Kyle Larson.
Shuts it down.
Save those tires.
No sense in running more when you can run that quick in your first lap. That's a big advantage to run fast on your first lap. So
what I was saying is just how close qualifying is going to be on this short track. I mean, other than Kyle Larson, that was a very impressive lap. Matt Kenseth jumps up to the 3rd position. We're going to see hundreds, if not thousands, of a second separate positions.
And again, the top 24 will advance into round 2. So right now, everyone is still being compared to now who's on top, Kyle Busch, who just turned the fastest lap at 21.844.
And right here at the bottom of your screen, you see Jimmy Johnson coasting out of sight. Why is that important? He only ran 1 lap, but it was only 7th quick, so you have to decide. Jack Ness has to make the decision. Is that enough? And Jimmy, I want you to continue to run or come in. He guesses that it's going to be enough. Let's try to keep the lap on the tire. That's a great call, but a big risk, because if he has to go out in this session, that will definitely hurt his chances.
One thing that's very evident is the reason the 16 drivers are currently in the chase, because they have been the best over the whole season. Well, right now in this qualifying session, the top 7 drivers are all chase drivers.
Jamie Murray. Jokes about me being old, he still turned a good lap. The 3rd.
You're not going to let that go, are you?
Not for a while.
Now let's see how Ryan Newman does. Very important. Newman, 22 points out of 16th. And Newman with a qualifying run of 8th.
Well, another bubble driver, which we feel has a good chance of getting in because of the gap. Chase Elliott, 24th. Not the lap Chase Elliott's looking for. Right down there on that cut line with drivers still to run. I don't believe that's going to get him through. I actually don't believe all the way up to maybe 95 Michael McDowell in the 18th position. I think all of those drivers need to be concerned about their pace.
Jeff Gordon update. Another guy who didn't have the run that he needed to have is Chris Buescher. He's down in 28th, and we still have a lot of cars that have not made a lap yet. So Chris Buescher has to be concerned down in 28th.
The stat I gave just a few moments ago about the top 8, everyone had run their fastest lap on their second lap. Now the top 10, everybody with the exception of 2 have run their fastest lap on their first lap.
Austin Dillon up to 3rd, Lane to 4th.
So is that stat the track? Is the track changing where that only takes 1 lap?
And if it is a track, if it is the track changing, then these guys down here on the bottom, Spears, McDowell, Biffle, Menard, Patrick, Patrick, can they go out a second time and pick up? You wouldn't think so, but if the track conditions are getting better, maybe they can, and that's going to take everybody on mid road a little bit nervous if one guy goes out and runs fast on his second time.
Marty.
Well, Rick, it could be the track changing. In fact, Adam Stevens told Kyle Busch when he went out, we're going to have to run 2 laps. When he saw that he went to the top of the board, now he's second to his brother Kurt Busch and changing quickly with Casey Kane going up to second now. When they saw they laid down that lap after 1 lap, he told them immediately, shut it down, shut it down. So trying to save as many laps as you get on your tires, but clearly the track going through a changing process midway through round 1.
And we mentioned it, Chris Buescher struggling, currently 34th. David Reagan, the car he needs to outrun to stay in the top 30 of the points, up into the 17th, up into round 2 currently. That is not what Chris Buescher in the 34 team wants to see.
If the race started right now, David Reagan would have enough points to be ahead of Chris Buescher. So,
well, not to mention, look at the top of the board. Casey Kane, a win here would be big. Ryan Blaney, a win would be just, it would change the entire standings.
Jamie McMurray currently in front of Ryan Newman, and Newman needs to gain 22 points on Jamie McMurray.
One of those guys won, well, then Jamie McMurray would have to gain points on Austin Dillon.
Right.
So,
well, the other option,
a new winner.
You know who the biggest David Reagan fan in Richmond is? Ryan Newman. Because if he outruns Chris Buescher, then Ryan Newman looks like he's got a chance to get in the chase. So there are just so many different storylines, so many different ways for these teams to get in the chase. And you see Chris Buescher out making another run, trying to improve his lap time as Logano goes in the top 15.
That moved Casey Mears just below the cut line in 25th.
Matt DiBenedetto now in 24th, right on the cut line. And Landon Castle, the only one to still needs to go out and take time in his qualifying section, as the clock now is 8 minutes and counting.
And Chris Buescher is definitely going to improve his lap here. It looks like, well, a little bit. 3 positions. It's just so close. But right here, trending in the green off turn 2. Can he hold this speed and get up into the top 24? I didn't think the tires had even close to a better lap in them, but the 34 of Chris Buescher has improved. Can he carry the momentum off? It looks like he got tight in the middle of 3 and 4.
The tires can improve with the track conditions getting better. You got Harvick sitting here in 21st. But you would not, he would not be thinking about having to run again. But if few of these guys go out and run quick, it will force them to run again.
Yeah, at the top of that chart on the left side of your screen is Jimmy Johnson. I mentioned how he only ran 1 lap, and it was a risk. But right currently is 17th. It looks like 1 lap might be enough.
Saw the 22 of Joey Logano. Leaving turn 4. Back of the car, just not underneath, just way too loose, not able to stay in the throttle. Still ended up 15th though, Dave.
Yeah, and so in that position, the crew is like, I think that will be good enough. They hope it will be with 7 minutes remaining.
It's right there on that point where I think that's safe. I don't think they're going to have to go again at 15. I would be surprised if enough people could move him down onto the line, but I've been surprised before in this sport.
Well, Jeff, we talked about this at the top of the show, how important qualifying was going to be. Well, Chase Elliott, while he does have the largest point margin, or, you know, the largest points advantage of everyone on the bubble, he still is on the bubble and sitting 33rd qualifying record. 33rd position is not where you want to start at this fast yet tight 3/4 mile track. If there's an accident early or trouble early, Dave, this 24 could easily be in it.
So, Steve, I talked to Chase right before he climbed in the car, and I looked at the final practice sheet. He was 30th in final practice, so I said to him, did you guys just blow off the mock runs? He kind of smiled and said, oh, we did them. So they had a little trouble in qualifying trim, it appears, this afternoon, even when they were just practicing for it.
And that's surprising to me, Rick, because you have Chase Elliott 33rd. I still want to move him up the chart. Casey Kane in 2nd. Gordon 13th. Johnson 17th. So there's 24. Not only struggling to find speed, but a big distance on lap time behind his 3 teammates.
Interesting scenario, as now just under 6 minutes to go in this qualifying session. People waiting every minute that the sun is not beating down on this racetrack. They're hoping that they will find some speed, especially the ones that are below the cut line right now for round 2.
And all eyes right now are on Ricky Stenhouse Jr. this lap. He's in 30th. If he can pick up speed and move himself into the cut line, there's going to be a lot of nervousness on pit road. Even if he doesn't move himself in the cut line, if he just picks up a 10. gets close, then people like Marvin Allmendinger, Regan Smith, David Reagan, those guys are going to become very nervous about whether they're going to have to run it or not.
He's in the green.
Yeah, he is in the green, and that got off the racetrack a little bit. So I bottomed out as he crossed the gate.
Quicker entering 3 and 4 there. See if we can hang on to it.
Going to be close.
Very close. Just below the cut line. 25th for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on that lap. And he's going to keep digging.
He's got to not drive in the corner deep. Turn 3 sucks you in, and once it makes you drive in deep, you can see he picked up some speed getting in, but he's losing it. Not much, though. Can he keep it?
He improves that time, and 23rd quickest for Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
And the fact that he found more speed at all is going to make 4 minutes and 20 seconds very exciting for the rest of these competitors. Almirola is now on the line. DeBenedetto has been below the line. Mears, 26th. McDowell, 27th.
And you have to look at a guy like Casey Mears, who went out very early, put the lap out there. He's been able to cool the tires off longer than most of the other drivers out there that are trying to fight to get into the top.
And remember, Casey Mears was first in our final practice of the day. He said he put down that lap early, but this is the perfect example of just how difficult it is to practice at Richmond.
Greg Biffle down to 28, trying to work himself up. Ryan Scott, 34th. Boyer to 32nd. I keep thinking Biffle's going to find a way. Got to the middle corner well, but just couldn't carry the speed on corner exit.
Greg Biffle, the 46-year-old out of Washington. His best finish at this track, 3rd. Making their 500th start. And Biffle not able to break into the top 24 on that lap. Danica Patrick back out on track. Danica had a 22.12 second lap. Trying to improve upon that. Now the cut line is Eric Almirola. And really 22.068 is what everyone will be shooting for. There are 3 drivers from 21st to 23rd that are separated by 1/1000th of a second. 3 drivers separated by 1/1000th of a second.
Patrick got off turn 2 really well. She gained just a little bit in 3 and 4. Didn't overdrive the entry. Looks like she's carrying good momentum. Just couldn't quite keep it.
Casey Mears back out on track. Danica Patrick giving it her all if she can break into the top 24. Mears, not an improvement on that last lap. It looks as though not able to find the speed as he'll shut it down with just over 2 minutes to go. Chase Elliott definitely searching for speed, especially compared to his teammates.
But the car bottom out a little bit in the middle of 3 and 4, coming to get the green right now.
We talked earlier about how they had to be easy with the throttle and race trim. You see how his hand is tight in the middle. The right hand just never moved. Watch him if he holds the steering wheel so still in the middle of the corner. That looks like a tight condition to me. Loose in, loose off, tight in the middle. That looks like Richmond.
See if it's better with keeping the tires in turn 1. He got really slow in the middle of the corner that first lap.
You saw him
Better
pass
this
Chris
lap.
Busher, who's joined them back on the racetrack to try to improve this time. The pace just isn't there for the 24 car. He's a 10th, almost 2 tenths of a second off Eric Almirola in 24th.
That really reminds me of the conversation we overheard Jimmy Johnson talking to his crew chief about his car was too comfortable in practice. They had to make it more uncomfortable. Chase Elliott's car was really comfortable, but it's just too slow. Won't turn.
One driver who has to be very uncomfortable right now is Chris Busher. We're riding along with him. Dave.
And Rick, he was told by crew chief Bob Osborne, we're going to wait until the bitter end, bud. And this is it. Left themselves just enough time to get a couple of laps. When he entered the track, he already had 5 time laps on his tires.
And he has to be looking right now at where David Reagan is. And David Reagan 31st in the points. Chris Busher 30th in points. And David Reagan right now 19th in his qualifying run. Busher still cannot break out of the 30s. He's still 31st. He get only an 11-point advantage, and that advantage is gone if they start where they are right now.
And David Reagan he's got to have a chance to improve. Who knows how far David Reagan can go? But there are some names in this top 24 I think need to be mentioned. You have Trevor Bain at 18th, David Reagan at 19th, Regan Smith at 20th. Great runs for all three of those drivers to move forward into the second round.
The names I want to talk about, Casey Kane in second and Blaney in sixth.
Yep.
These guys can win this race and completely turn this whole chase thing upside down. So these guys got to feel really good about round one. Let's see if we can carry the momentum into round two and see if they can advance into three.
Eric Almirola is able to hang on to the 24th spot and will advance to round two. Casey Kane, as you mentioned, second in the first round. We'll hear from the drivers when we come back.